Hey there, internet friends. Trevor Starkey back with another episode of Wrestling Wednesday. This week I'm going to go over, of course, Money in the Bank and the disastrous results that the WWE insisted on giving its own historic, iconic women's Money in the Bank match. So the show kicked off, of course, with the Hype Bros versus the Colognes, which was pretty clear that they were going to give the win to the guy returning from injury, Zack Ryder, and, you know, for their part, Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley did their job and got the St. Louis crowd hyped. That led into, of course, the match that everybody had their eyes on, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. That happened. Like, I predicted that Carmella was going to win it with James Ellsworth interference. I didn't think they'd go so far as to have Ellsworth climb the ladder and get her the briefcase. That was just... I mean, everybody's already kind of gone about this online, so I don't need to really add more to it, but just a bad optics call to have the first ever women's Money in the Bank match won by a man. It's Santino Marella winning the Divas Championship in, like, their all-star bout thing all over again, and I just don't know how they could be so tone-deaf as to think this was a good idea. Even for the heat it, of course, is going to bring, like, you can get that same level of heat, but still have a woman actually win the match. The match itself was fine, well-paced, didn't have any crazy memorable spots that are standing out to me a few days later. You had Charlotte Flair doing the corkscrew off the turnbuckle, but there wasn't, like, I didn't remember too much in the way of crazy ladder stunts outside of Ellsworth tipping the ladder and Becky Lynch falling off. So maybe this was the plan all along, that they were saving all of their best spots for the real Money in the Bank match happening next week on SmackDown. I mean, if they're trying to boost ratings, that makes sense. Go ahead and make one of your highlight matches of the year on TV. Give it away for free. Here's hoping it's actually better. Even if next week's match, though, is good, you will still, in the record books, always have the first women's Money in the Bank match being won by a man. Because fuck you, says Vince McMahon high atop his ivory tower. Up next, you had another screwy finish when the Usos decided they didn't need this shit and just walked away from the match, letting themselves lose by countout and keep the titles. In a vacuum, that's actually a pretty solid ending to keep the feud going on. The match itself was great. There was a lot of false finishes, especially at the end, including one presumably botched one where one of the Usos was late to break up a pin because the ref pretty much counted 3 and then had to kind of play it off as though, no, I didn't say 3. My hand didn't hit the mat. That was me slapping to say, oh, the pin is broken. Anyway, the match itself was really good, and I'm excited to see the feud continue. But when we had that finish right after the Ellsworth finish, I basically tweeted out, is it too late to rebrand this show Blue Balls of Fire, and just use the graphics package for the Great Balls of Fire and just color correct it blue instead of red. Women's champion Naomi versus Lana was passable. You had Carmella come out and tease that she was going to cash in the Money in the Bank, but given that you'd had on Twitter already Daniel Bryan coming out and saying he's going to address this, it was pretty much a given then that we weren't going to actually see anything cashed in if things were going to happen on Tuesday anyway. Match was largely forgettable. You had Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis come out as Mike and Maria Kanellis. I don't know either of them. Maria was apparently in the WWE during my dark years, so I've got nothing to say about them. Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton, pretty much the exact same match we got at Backlash that put the title on Jinder. You have Orton has Jinder beat, the Sings interfere, Orton destroys the Sings, and Mahal uses the distraction of the Sings to sneak away a win on Orton. This time with his dad in the crowd, in his hometown crowd, so of course he was going to lose. Then we had an impromptu match between Breezango and the Ascension, because apparently it was the Ascension that had been attacking Breezango in the last week or so. Sure, why not? The quick, easy win for Breezango. Palate cleanser between the WWE match and the Money in the Bank match, which of course, because the Money in the Bank match is happening after the championship match, we know that's not going to get cashed in at the pay-per-view, so another great booking call, even if it was obviously going to be the match of the night. And indeed, it was the match of the night. I wasn't the biggest fan of Corbin taking out Nakamura at the top of the show, because it was pretty telegraphed then that he would be coming back later in the match. So it just seemed like they were doing it to get one less body running around, so they could book a 5-man Money in the Bank match, and then have one guy come out at the end and just kind of wreck shop against all of the weakened competitors. Sami Zayn had some great moments, like the sunset flip powerbomb off the top of the ladder on Ziggler. So it was pretty clear that he wasn't going to walk away with it because he was getting such a strong showing in the match itself too early on. And you had Styles slamming Owens was another great spot on the ladder. And you had that great moment where Styles was up on the briefcase and Ziggler pulled the ladder out from under him, and Styles just kind of dangled there from the briefcase for a few minutes before crashing down to the ground. So the thing that annoyed me most about this match was Corbin is climbing the ladder and Nakamura's music plays and Corbin doesn't move. Like, everybody's down, Nakamura is 100 yards away from you, climb the fucking ladder and win the damn match, you moron. Especially if that's how it's booked anyway, and that's how you're gonna... Grr. I'm sighing a lot for this episode, and I feel that I could do a supercut of my here, but... Nakamura came down, he wrecked shop, as I said. It was like he got to have a moment with everybody, pretty much. There was a great showdown between him and Styles, which I think leaves everybody excited for that match in the future, be it at SummerSlam or something else down the line. But then you finally had Corbin tip people off the ladder and climb up himself. A really anticlimactic finish. And of everybody in that match, he's the most boring, at least since I've been watching again since starting with WrestleMania. Like, he hasn't done anything of note, so I'm left wondering, why is he getting the push? But then I remember, oh, this is right, SmackDown also has Jinder Mahal as the champion right now. So, it's the year of unearned pushes, I guess. Way to go, WWE. Yeah! So those are my thoughts on Money in the Bank. We saw a little bit of the fallout from it on SmackDown this week with the women's briefcase being pulled from Carmella, and everybody's going to have to recompete in another Money in the Bank ladder match next Tuesday on SmackDown Live. The whole thing there reeks of, oh, ratings are down, so we gotta boost the ratings with this event match on TV. Here's hoping it's better. Let me know what you thought of Money in the Bank in the comments below. As always, I've been your host, Trevor Starkey from TrevorTrove.com. You can follow me at SnarkyStarkey on Twitter. And until next time, from here at the Trove, treasure your friends.